This episode is brought to you by Kia's first 3-row all-electric SUV, the Kia EV9, with available all-wheel drive and seating for up to 7 adults, with a 0 to 60 speed that thrills you 1 minute, and available reclining lounge seats that unwind you the next. Visit kia.com/EV9 to learn more. Ask your Kia dealer for availability. No system, no matter how advanced, can compensate for all driver error and or driving conditions. Always drive safely.
I'm Mo Rocca, and I'm excited to announce Season 4 of my podcast, Mobituaries. I've got a whole new bunch of stories to share with you about the most fascinating people and things who are no longer with us. From famous figures who died on the very same day, to the things I wish would die, like buffets. All that and much more. Listen to Mobituaries with Mo Rocca wherever you get your podcasts.
Alright, what's up, guys? Welcome to another episode of the TMossBoss Show. And in today's episode, forgive me if I sound a little tired and if I mess up throughout this podcast episode. It's almost 1 a.m. and I don't know, like usually I'll be like a little bit awake, but no, I'm really tired. So forgive me if I sound a little sluggish, my fault, but I wanted to get this podcast episode done. But anyways, no, I wanted to talk on this Joe Budden clip of him going off about Drake and things and his new album, and then him hanging out with Kai Cenat and stuff. I wanted to talk on that. I wanted to talk on Joe Budden as an individual, and then I also wanted to talk on why I think it's just a bad career move to beef with Drake, because I found like this website. Shout out to thethings.com, but they have this article where he talks on all of like Drake's popular beefs. And hold on for a second, let me see if Wikipedia, if they have anything. Personal controversies, feuds. Okay, so they do have feuds. So was alleged he got into a physical altercation with Chris Brown. I'm like, dang, I knew they had beef, but they did do that song together, so it's like, obviously, yeah, the beef had ended and things, but no, overall though, because Wikipedia, they just got where it's just like multiple paragraphs. They ain't got like the names and things, because I ain't trying to read into all that stuff. So, but anyways, but no, overall, so for those that don't know what's going on, so yeah, Joe Budden, for those that don't know who he is, used to be a rapper, retired from rap, got into podcasting, because with podcasting, yeah, there is more money into it. Like, yeah, if you look at like how much money somebody that owns a popular podcast, how much they make versus somebody that is a rapper, and then if you're signed to a record label, you most likely ain't gonna be getting all that money, because you probably having to pay for studio time, the music, or the beats. You're gonna have to, you're paying for a lot of different things, and then you might have to be paying for a writer and all that other stuff, depending on if you are that type of artist and things. But anyways, yeah, most likely you're having to pay for a lot of that money, or pay for a lot of that stuff just to create an album. And then, yeah, you ain't gonna really see all the money that you should be making when, you're getting into music and things. So anyways, yeah, doing a podcast, there's definitely much more money and opportunities within that. But so Joe Budden, he retired from rap, got into podcasting, got most of his fame from the one podcast. I don't even think that podcast is even a thing anymore, because I haven't heard anything from them. Everyday Struggle podcast. Let's see real quick, podcast. Yeah, I don't think they're doing any things anymore, because I was like, yeah, they're just, yeah, they're not doing any things with that podcast anymore. I was like, they used to. It was some years ago, but after that, it was. I felt like after Joe Budden had left that podcast, because he got most of his fame from that podcast. I felt like the fame started when because yeah, DJ Academics was on there. I can't think of the girl's name, but yeah, she had like stuff to say too that was important. Like they were like the right people to have on that podcast, DJ Academics was going to bring what he needed to the table. The girl, she was going to bring what she needed to bring to the table. Because she was like, I feel like that girl, it was like, yeah, she definitely, if I knew I was a loud individual talking about Joe Budden, and then you got DJ Academics where he's gonna say some stuff that's gonna upset somebody. She was like that person to kind of like calm everybody down. I think there was a couple of times though where she did get mad, but it's like she had a right to. It's like when you got somebody like DJ Academics and Joe Budden on your side, yeah, that girl, she had a right to get mad. It's like that would be the most stressful job. If anybody was the realest person on that show, it was her. All right, so shout out. No, what was I need to know what was her name? I feel like if I'm gonna like show respect to that girl, I feel like I need to actually show respect. So Everyday Struggle Show. Nadeska Alexis, is that her name? Nadeska Alexis. Look, bro, I'm not good with names. All right, so but anyways, yeah, she was definitely like she was the realest on that show. All right, so but anyways, Joe Budden built most of his fame off of that show. And then I feel that the one episode that really went viral was when he was going off on the rapper Lil Yachty for being happy. And it was like, I get what Joe Budden was trying to say and what he was trying to put in his mind, but it's like the way he was just wording it, it was like you just came off as a old dude just yelling at a younger guy. And I'm like, it's stuff like that where it's like, yeah, that's how most people are going to view it. You know, where it's like you got one of the biggest rappers in the world on your podcast, and you're yelling at him for being happy. It's like, how do you think people are going to look at that? They're going to be looking at it like you're crazy, and then they're also going to be laughing at you. So it was like that. But after that, though, it was like, I feel like my opinion don't even matter. If he wanted to yell, he has the God-given right to yell at whoever he wants to yell at and stuff. But so anyways, so yeah. Yachty did like an episode of Everyday Struggle when Joe Budden was on there. And then from there, it just skyrocketed. And so everybody was tuned in to Everyday Struggle just to see if Joe Budden was going to snap about some stuff. Because he was like, Joe Budden, that's one thing that you guys need to know about him. He is extremely vocal. Like that, he ain't going to hold back. He's going to tell you how it is. He's going to tell you how he feels. So anyways, he was like doing that every episode. There was even like side videos where he was be yelling at like, because it was Everyday Struggle. It was owned by I'm pretty sure some of you guys might have seen this social media. I think it's a magazine, but I've known them for like social media. But there's this social media account called Complex. They're like this big business, and so they own the podcast Everyday Struggle. And yeah, there was like even Complex, they was uploading videos where like bro was like going off on like other workers and stuff. So eventually he left. He realized that, you know, he most likely he can make most of the money and stuff if he has his own podcast. So eventually, yeah, he did come out with the Joe Budden podcast. Or is it the podcast or the show? Regardless, he came out with his own podcast. Had these two guys on there that were they ended up creating their own podcast because I think they did have some conflict with Joe Budden. I forgot to like really look into that because I actually wanted to see what that was all about, like why they really left and see if they came out and talked about any things. I think their names was Rory and Maul. So, but yeah, Joe Budden, when I tell you guys that this man is vocal, he ain't just vocal on like stuff that's like kind of happening in the outside world. He's vocal with people right there to their face. And I'm like, fam, even when he was on that Everyday Struggle show, he would yell at DJ Academics about stuff. I think there was at times when he was yelling at the girl about stuff. And then even on his own podcast, he was yelling at his own people on that show about stuff. Now he kind of got like some guys on there where they're like, you know, like they're the yes men's and stuff, where it's like, you know, because even the video where they showed of him going off about Drake's new album and Drake hanging out with Kais and that, they're like the clip that's going viral of him now. Like, they're all like, oh, yeah, you know, yeah, they just, because the thing is this, if I know I'm making good money and all I just got to do is just say, yeah, and people are not there for me, they're not going to care about what I have to say, they're only there for him, he's the talent, and I'm just kind of like, you know, one of those, you know how like in TV shows where people they just kind of do like reactions and stuff. They don't really like, especially like 90s shows and stuff. Like you'll see like that one guy, he'll like I can't really like show you since it's since audio and stuff. But I might do like a comedy skit or something like making fun of how those guys. But like they didn't have like lines or anything. They just made like facial expression. I don't know why I just made the facial expression as if like you guys can see it and stuff. But anyways, yeah, that's like pretty much like what those guys are right now and stuff. So, but so yeah, Joe Budden, he does this podcast. So no, actually, no. Let me backtrack. So Drake comes out with a new album. Has a lot of different ways of like promoting his album, and one of the ways he promoted it was hanging out with Kai Cenat. Now, my thing is this, me being me, all right, I'm a big content creator, and there's all these different artists that appeared on my streams, from Offset, 21 Savage, freaking who else? Wasn't it the I'm trying to think. It was somebody else that appeared on wasn't it the one dude? He's currently dating Adele. Hold on for a second. I need to look up that guy's name. Rich Paul. Hold on. Rich Paul Kai Cenat. Cause he was on, no, he was on his stream and stuff, and I think there was at one point where Adele had like called midstream, I believe, and so I thought that was pretty. I think that that's just something that kind of just stays in your head, like you ain't gonna forget no stuff like that. But so, anyways, but yeah, I'm saying you have all of these big name people appearing on Kai Cenat's stream, and then from the last person being Offset. So I imagine like Offset. Most likely, still, because it's like, I'm pretty sure if you guys remember like the Migos origin days and stuff, one of their biggest collaborators that they ever had was Drake. So I imagine, Drake, got in contact with Offset, was all like, hey, can you give me Kai Cenat's number? I don't know. I'm gonna just say, I think that's how it went down. But I'm pretty sure, Drake and Kai Cenat, eventually they came in contact. Kai Cenat either flew out or Drake flew him out to appear at one of his shows, which, Kai Cenat did. But let's just stop right there. Now, Joe Budden is mad at the fact that that Drake is hanging out with Kai Cenat, because Drake, I guess, is he's gonna be turning 37 here soon, and Joe Budden doesn't approve of him hanging out with a 20-something-year-old guy. My thing is this: when you hit that legal age of 18, you're an adult. You're allowed to do whatever you want to do. That man's living on his own. Talking on Kai Cenat, Drake's living on his own. Why is it an issue and my thing is this, regardless of whether it was just a publicity stunt to promote his album and Kai Cenat was doing it just to promote his streams, regardless, either way, at the end of the day, it's a win-win situation if it's that or if it's two friends just wanting to hang out. And I'm like, my thing is this. How is that any different than, let's say, if Drake became friends with somebody that's like 60, 70 years old? You gonna look at 60, 70-year-old man and tell him to hang out with whoever he wants to hang out with? I'm saying like that to me just don't make no sense. I'm not going to have no grown man telling me who I should and shouldn't hang out with. I'm like, fam, I feel like that, I don't know, maybe it's a jealousy thing. And I'm not, the thing is this, I'm not trying to take away no success from Joe Budden's career. But my thing is this stuff. And then I think that's another thing that he was talking on now also, that I think I'm gonna just transition into that, was I guess like how Drake was rapping. Like he felt that he didn't do a whole lot on this album. Like it was pretty much making it seem like that it was it wasn't a good album and stuff. My thing is this, that was something that I was thinking on earlier, is that I do feel that what music is today, it's a lot easier than what music was years ago, because you really had to be creative with your music in order to take off. But I feel that if you can come out, and that's the thing where it's like music ain't that much different from how it was. Like, you would hear like a lot of like storytelling songs and all that, but I feel like that house party like type music, like that's music that's going to attract a crowd. Now my thing is this: if you're a rising musician, I'm not saying that Drake is right. That man, he has risen. He is the best. He is at like his prime time of his career and stuff. But my thing is this: if you're trying to attract people, not just one person, but people, what are you going to come out with? You're going to come out with music that you can turn up to at a club, okay? That's what music is today. You go back 30, 40 years, and if my thing is this, and there was nothing wrong with coming out with storytelling music, because that's some of my favorite. I feel like if you could come out with a song and you're storytelling, which is something that Drake has done, which is something a lot of artists have done, they just have different ways of doing it. But my thing is this, if you can do some stuff like that, you're a talented artist. Drake has done that. But my thing is this, everybody knows that if you can come out with because look, they're still playing Hotline Bling. They're still playing. Let's just look up some of Drake's. I'm just gonna look up Drake and see if they have like different things of his like music listed somewhere. I mean, even with his last album. Okay, so yeah. You got One Dance. That song came out in 2016. That's like the first song that they show when you search his music up on Google. You got God's Plan, freestyle that he did this year. Rich Flex, a song he came out with last year. Laugh Now, Cry Later, which came out in 2020. Passion Fruit, that came out back in 2017. Like, you got all these songs that came out in all these different years and periods. I know there's at times where I'm even listening to some of Drake's old music and things because he is a hit maker. The man makes hits. That's why they put him on this in the same conversation as Michael Jackson, because this man makes hits. Now, I'm not saying that he's better than Michael Jackson. I'm not saying that he's going to succeed. Well, obviously, yeah, with numbers and stuff. I mean, yeah, he is. But the man is a hit maker, and he knows how to promote his music. Because my thing is this, getting back to this, like what type of crowd you're trying to attract. Are you trying to attract a crowd, or are you trying to attract one person? And I feel like Joe Budden wants to be that one person, but it's like you have to understand, how much money do you think he's going to make by you being the only person in this world listening to his album versus the 70-something million monthly listeners that he has on Spotify? At the end of the day, you ask Drake that question, who do you want listening to your music? Joe Budden or the 78 million people that support your music? I'm saying at the end of the day, I'm like, you sit down and think about it on paper, imagination, however you want to place it, you gonna take them 78 monthly listeners. I'm saying like that, he has to understand that Drake is not going to care about his opinion on his life. And it wouldn't be no different if Drake was to come out and say something about Joe Budden's life. I'm saying, like, at the end of the day, it's like, look, that's that man's life. And I think that's because I've dealt with people like Joe Budden before, where they want to say an opinion about somebody as if you've sat down and you've had a whole conversation with me to know who I am as a person. So therefore it's like, oh, all you've done is listen to my music. All you have done is just seen my content. That is it. You don't know nothing about me based off of the content that I put out. And you haven't spent, he's 36, 37 years old talking on Drake. You haven't been in my life for no 36, 37 years. So it's like, how do you know everything you need to know about me to put me in this group of people that you don't like in your head? I'm like, look, here's the thing with Joe Budden. Joe Budden is a very angry person for no reason. I've seen people like him. I've dealt with people like him. And do you think at the end of the day, do you think people are going to want to be around that? I want to overall see what Drake's response was to that video that went viral and stuff, because it made no sense for Joe Budden to go off on Drake in the first place and stuff. So that's so he goes on to say at Joe Budden, because I don't know if he was commenting this on, well, DJ Academics posted. I don't know where Drake had commented this, but he goes on to say, Joe Budden, you have failed at music. You left it behind to do what you're doing in this clip because this is actually what pays your bills. For any artist watching this, just remember you are watching a failure give their opinion on his idea of recipe for success. A quitter give their opinion on how to achieve longevity. You switch careers because the thing that pops into your brain had you broke, living check to check. And why he spelled check like that? I was all like, check, hey, what? I was like, okay, check to check. I hurry up, then I auto corrected in my head. But anyways, and the raps you write have 450 men showing up to your shows in dusty NC jeans to screw up their face to Mood Music 29 and pretend you are the GOAT. Please, to any artist that's doing what they feel is right, don't let these opinions affect your mindset after the fact. This guy is the poster child of frustration and surrendering. You retire and we never hung up your jersey. We don't even remember your number. We know that dang. We know you're doing we know you for doing this. You withdrew from rap not cuz you accomplished all you need. It's cuz it wasn't working for you. I never want anybody in this generation to think that the whole everybody's entitled to their opinion is a real thing. This is a man projecting his own self-hate, and the fact I did and continue to do everything he wanted to do for himself. If you need it put in simpler terms, I own a 767. What? Oh, a plane. Oh, okay. I was like a 760. What's a 760? I was like, oh, a plane. I was like, oh, okay, that's cool, Drake. Just show off on everybody. All right. So he owns a modest house in the 973 and flies first class on special occasions. Dang. So he just went off on him. But see, that's the thing though, where it's like, beefing with Drake, I just feel like, yeah, it's good publicity, but at the same time, remember the last time, Joe Budden, when you got into some beef and you had people driving past your house making fun of you, you having to chase down some teenagers talking about, I'm gonna fight you or stab you or something like that. He said something threatening to them and things. But let's just name off, that's something that I wanted to do. Let's just name off all the people that Drake has beefed with, all right? So shout out to this website called thethings.com. But so the first person that they show on the list, it's like a top 10. So they're all like, the first person that they show is Common. Who listens to Common? No disrespect to Common, but who be saying, I'm pretty sure Common got some good music, but do you think anybody in this day and age, when it comes to Drake or Common, do you think anybody in this day and age, people that woke up bright and early to listen to Drake's music, do you think they doing that same thing for Common? No, they're not. Moving on to the next person, Tyga, he done came out with some hits, but I feel like it was a long time ago. But I'm saying, like, at the end of the day, I don't know. Like, I feel like, it was like he must have said this, like, early on in the career, but he ain't saying that now because he knows how many Drake fans is out there and stuff. And it's not, to me, it's not, and I even think that, this old Common stuff, they said in 2011. That was like far. That wasn't Drake today. That was like Drake, where there was other rappers around the time where it was like, yeah, you didn't know whether or not Drake was gonna be a successful rapper at the time being. Yeah, he came out with some good music, but you didn't think he was gonna be here like almost. It was like, bro, it's like almost 20 years later and stuff. So, but anyways. And then, same with Tyga. It's like, I think this was like early on in his career and stuff. Hold on for a second. When this come out? It was like 6 p.m. in New York. Did this come out? Yeah, that was like 2015. That was like, okay, like we knew Drake was a big deal at that point because it was like, when he came out for that. I think it was like sorry if I'm late, or what was that? If you're reading this, it's too late. All right, so when he came out with that, it was like, oh, okay, yeah, it was like, no, that Drake, he coming out with some more hits. Ludacris. I'm saying, yeah, Ludacris, don't get me wrong, had the early 2000s. When Ludacris was really, when he was making music, bro, it was something that it was like, it was special. You know, like, that's like what I felt like the last generation, what they were listening to. Then my generation, you know, we listening to Drake and stuff. But yeah, it's like Ludacris. But yeah, he called out, or they was like Drake, he called out Ludacris. And they was like, Ludacris was not happy about this and retaliating the diss track. Bada Boom saying that Drake is softer than Pillsbury Doughboy. Yeah, that I don't feel like that. The feud between the two ended, and Drake let Ludacris know that he had a lot of love for him at the 2017 Billboard Music. Okay, so yeah, they chill. And there was like Diddy, he allegedly laid hands on Drake, and I'm like, yeah, nobody didn't really in 2014. It was, yeah, a rumor, but it's like you don't know whether or not it was like on some serious stuff and things. Kendrick Lamar, I had to say, that'd probably be the only person that I think when it comes to like if there was gonna be somebody out there that was gonna get into a beef and actually end Drake's career, it's gonna be Kendrick. I was like, out of all, Kendrick, Jay-Z. Okay, so I'll continue going down the list because there are some other people and stuff, but yeah, those are like the next two. And the thing is that because Jay-Z and Drake, they've done music before, so that's why it's like their beef is kind of like, it's weird. Like, but I think even on this website, they say it's more so a competitive beef. Like it's like a friendly competition, I feel like. So I wouldn't really call it a beef, but Pusha T, I do feel like that he was, alright, so if I could explain it, like in wrestling terms, I feel like that Pusha T was, the Shawn Michaels to Undertaker, while Undertaker being Drake and things. Like, he put on a good, fight, talking on Pusha T, but he didn't come out on top. You know, like, if anything, I just feel like that he more so elevated Drake's career and stuff to where now it's like Drake got a whole, like, yeah, I mean, it was like, yeah, he has a whole kid and he, really didn't want, like, the world to know about it, which is something that I can understand. It's like, I'm pretty sure there's a lot of people out there where they don't want people to, like, know about their kids and stuff, so more so talking on celebrities and things. But, yeah, I just feel like that Pusha T, like, even though he was dissing him, all you just did was elevate his career. Now people got even more. You got those people out there where they weird about that type of stuff, where they want to pay attention to a person's personal life so much. And now that they know that Drake got a kid, and it's all like, oh, well, we got to know about the kid. We got to know what the kid doing. We got to post about that. Now they got something to post about Drake and things. They're all like, oh, his kid just did this. Oh, we got to post about it, like talking on TMZ and things. But even after that drama, I remember because you see a Drake concert, you see everybody going crazy at that concert. I remember when I was watching it was a clip of a Pusha T concert. Bro, there was people throwing like beer and like drinks at him and stuff. And I'm like, this is the same man that just dissed Drake, and this is how he's getting treated at his concerts. That ain't good, bro. Kanye, on the other hand, I'm like, yeah, I don't think that he's beef with Drake. But I just don't think that Kanye is like a threat to Drake and things. Like, Kanye is Kanye. So he's one of those guys where it's like, I feel like Kanye kind of just self-destructed when it comes to a beef with somebody and things. So, and Meek Mill, I think that was also like one of the, like, that was one of the most one-sided beefs that I have ever seen throughout, like, the history of, like, music beefs that I've seen throughout my lifetime and the ones that I've read about. That beef was so one-sided. I was like, bro, that's tough, man. I was all like, nah, I feel like Meek Mill, the thing is this. Yeah, there was like, since then, they have collaborated, they've made up, but I just still feel like people, they bring that stuff up. Like, I feel like ain't nobody gonna let that go, that Meek Mill got into a beef with Drake. So I'm like, yeah, Meek Mill, I was like, I think that really did show what Drake was capable of and stuff. When cause he came out with like 3 diss tracks. He came out with a diss track called Charged Up, another one called Back to Back, and then he came out with Summer 16, and I was like, bruh, that was like, all hits, literally hits, especially Summer 16. And then they was like Chris Brown, and I think they was like, they did that because they both had like, Chris Brown, he dated Rihanna, and then Drake, he had love for Rihanna. She ended up going with A$AP Rocky, so it was like, I think those guys, I think they just came to the realization that it was like, it ain't worth it to be carrying on like that and stuff. So yeah, it's just, they ended up being cool with one another. But yeah, I just feel like that all these different beefs that they done mentioned, probably the only one where I would have to say it would be more so a draw when it comes to Kendrick Lamar and Drake beefing and things. It's a draw between them. But everybody else, it's like, it's literally Drake. Drake is on some Undertaker stuff. Like, he is undefeated when it comes to beefs. Like, even I feel like, because I'm a Kendrick Lamar fan, but I feel like even with Kendrick Lamar, like, when you talking hits, like, even when you talking on, like, all the album projects that they've done, like, Drake, he done put out a lot of projects since from when Kendrick Lamar put out his last project all the way to not this like the last one he just did, but the second to last one all the way up until the last one that he did. Yeah, it's like, how many things have Drake came out with? I'm like, from features, albums, collaborations. I'm saying like, Drake, he done did a lot. So it's one of those things where it's just, I just don't see a beef with Drake being a good idea. That's just something where I'm like, nah, it's like, you gotta be smarter than that. If you're gonna be beefing with somebody, beef with somebody else. But beefing with Drake, that's a bad business move, bruh. So, but anyways, and that being said, I will talk to y'all later. Thank you guys for watching and or listening. Stay tuned for the next episode. Follow me across all social media platforms at TMossBoss. Thank you guys, and peace.